Mr. Speaker, 6 years ago, there's a famous black French footballer called Benjamin Mendy, who arrived at the Manchester club called Manchester City as the most expensive defender at the time. Mr. Speaker, around November of 2020, this gentleman was arraigned in court and charged on 6 allegations of rape. At that particular point when those charges were brought against Benjamin Mendy, his career entirely stopped. His contract at Manchester City, of course, was put on hold. His bright future as a footballer was thrown into confusion. It was only in January of this year that footballer called Mendy was cleared of those charges. Mr. Speaker, there are certain truths that we know in our society. There are certain crimes called crimes of morality. That in fact, Mr. Speaker, for as long as an allegation is made that you have been involved in a crime of morality, for instance, rape or defilement of a minor, the public already in their minds make a determination that you as a man are guilty. Mr. Speaker, there is also a tenet of law that the person who makes an allegation has the responsibility to prove that allegation. He who alleges must prove. Mr. Speaker, I have seen my colleague, the nominated senator from Nairobi, trying to make comparison to some of the things that have happened on this floor, to some of the allegations that have been leveled against members of the clerkship in this house by the senator under discussion, Senator Gloria Oroba. Mr. Speaker, this report is what we are supposed to restrict ourselves to this afternoon. Senator Gloria Oroba made very specific allegations that have been captured in this report, Mr. Speaker, and her responsibility, her sole responsibility, because we all have responsibility for the statements that we make and the allegations that we make. The first one, and this is found on page 8 of the report by the committee, is an allegation of pursuit of sexual favors in this house. Now, as I have told you, some of these allegations, especially for crimes of morality, immediately the allegation is made, especially to a man, you are done. The society will not wait for the court case. They will not be interested in what the witnesses will come to say. In the minds of those people, you are a rapist once the allegation has been made. And that is the God honest truth. So, it is not to say that you cannot make an allegation. It is not to say that probably there are not people in this institution of parliament who are seeking sexual favors. That is not what we are saying. We are saying that immediately you pronounce that so and so is seeking sexual favors from you, you have a responsibility to substantiate those allegations. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, the second count, there was an allegation of favoritism and discrimination in the execution of the work by the office of the clerk and officers of this institution. Now, Mr. Speaker, all that is required to do after making an allegation, if indeed it is true, you must be able to demonstrate with evidence in fact that these are things that you have not just conjured up, that things are actually happening the way that you're putting them. Because these allegations once made against officers or any person in this house have consequences, Mr. Speaker. It is only fair that you make that substantiation. The third one, and all these are on page 8, is an allegation of corruption. That on diverse dates, she said that there were cases of corruption in parliament, posting various messages on social media, that there are allegations of corruption. You know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, none of us here would survive an allegation of corruption if we are going to continue to be public servants in this republic. Now, I have had a conversation, and I had a conversation in this chamber with Senator Gloria, and I told her that in fact the beauty with our system is that there exists a mechanism through which you can demonstrate using evidence and facts that in fact these things are happening to you. And that was the invitation that came from the Committee on Powers and Privileges. Mr. Speaker, what is most disheartening is that when you read this report, Senator Gloria Oroba, on 2 separate occasions, was invited to appear before the Committee on Powers and Privileges. Mr. Speaker, if you look at page 7 of that report, paragraph 12A, the first thing is the committee confirms here that Senator Gloria was given an opportunity to appear before the Powers and Privileges Committee, ostensibly to table evidence to back her claims of sexual favors, of corruption, and of favoritism in this particular house. Mr. Speaker, you can see that at paragraph 13, that matter, some of those allegations that she had made were the subject of investigations by none other than the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. And at paragraph 13A, the report says that the evidence submitted was not enough to sustain a criminal charge in court. That is to tell you that the DCI had concluded their investigations and that they found the evidence that was provided not substantive enough to sustain any charges against anybody. Mr. Speaker, it was also at paragraph 14, the committee says that no evidence was tendered by Senator Gloria Oroba to rebut the charges, and hence the allegations that she made remained unsubstantiated. On the day of the hearing itself, the report says that at paragraph 11 on page 6, that it had granted her an opportunity to be heard, and she refused to take that opportunity to be heard, refusing to continue with the proceedings, and the committee elected to continue to proceed and hear this matter. So all I am saying, Mr. Speaker, when this matter was first brought before the House, I was inclined to some of the thinking that I have heard some of our colleagues saying, that maybe the punishment that has been proposed by the committee was too harsh. But for me, Mr. Speaker, if you have gone through certain things in this House, and you have publicly said this is what you're going through and it is impeding your work as a senator in this House, and then you are granted an opportunity for you to table evidence against these things, because I do not believe that it is impossible for you to demonstrate bias. It is not impossible for you to demonstrate. If honorable any member here has treated you unfairly, there will be traces, there will be tracks. But for you to make allegations and accusations against people who cannot defend themselves in public, it is very, very unfair for you then to be granted an opportunity to substantiate, then you refuse to substantiate. One of the most unfair things in these particular proceedings, Mr. Speaker, is that the person who was the subject of these allegations that remain unproven and unsubstantiated is a clerk in this House who does not have the same political platform like Sifuna to be able to answer you. For me, everybody in this House knows, if you come after me, we will be with you, mundu kumundu. I have no problem with that. You are very free to come and attack Sifuna on any day, because I will deal with you perpendicularly, circumferentially, whatever it is. But for people seated at this table, Mr. Speaker, they do not enjoy the same privilege. What is the most hurtful thing is, and I think Clerk Jeremiah Nyegenye has demonstrated some level of restraint and maturity that I personally do not believe I possess. Because I cannot be in a forum with you. You are making allegation after allegation after allegation. You are given opportunity to substantiate, and I have to read all that information and just look at you and keep quiet. It will not happen. Some of us, I think, are built of a bit more volatile material that is easily combustible, Mr. Speaker, and I will not allow you to continue like that. So, for those reasons, Mr. Speaker, I believe that Senator Gloria, having made those allegations, she had a responsibility to substantiate those allegations. She had the opportunity to substantiate those allegations before the committee. She elected not to appear before that committee or to tender any evidence. Those allegations remain unsubstantiated, and therefore, the punishment that has been proposed by the committee is something that I am willing to support, and I hereby support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. And Senator Sifuna, for your information, I think we are made from the same material. So I think we are okay. That's a good material.